And we're here for the Ruined Radio Vodcast here at RMS Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. And it is snowing. That's stupid.
Winter wonderland outside.
People who have to deal with snow all the time, I feel sorry for you.
It's horrible.
It is horrible.
You have to be a total moron to live up where it snows all the time.
That's what I say. That's exactly what I say.
That's why I'm packing my bag and moving to Florida.
West Coast or no coast?
Moving to Florida. Seriously.
I miss the West Coast.
Well, this is what's weird is Christmas Day, it was like 65.
Well, last week it was like 65,
Well,
wasn't
next
it?
week it's going to be 65.
Seriously, that's Nashville for you, though.
If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. Let me tell you, everywhere in the country says that you are not that special. I am Jake Jones. To my left.
Justin Forshaw.
To his left.
Tom Riordan.
And
Brooks Holt.
I was going to call you something retarded.
What was that last week?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm just glad you're not using the Caucasian invasion like Lou.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was this close to saying it. I was like, no, I'll let that one go.
Listen, Brooks, those are big shoes to fill.
They are.
We're actually
I'm not there yet.
We're actually missing Luke Andrews this week because he is out with Family Force 5.
Yes.
After that, I'm pretty sure he's going out with Disciple. And
Big
then, listen, I need everyone who's listening to this right now to reach out to Danny Goki. Luke submitted an audition to play for Danny
Yeah,
Goki.
he did.
And let me tell you, Luke Andrews is a phenomenal guitarist. He is like 10 years old and is 100 million times the guitarist I will ever be. If anybody deserves that gig, it's that kid. He's a sweetheart. He loves
really
God
is.
with all his heart and
does.
would work really hard. So everybody reach out to Danny Goki and tell him that he needs Luke Andrews to play for him.
Do it.
So, hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
You know, usually we kind of ahead of time are like, so this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah, we didn't do that.
We keep saying
wondering.
we're going to have things pre-planned, and then we get in here because we're lazy. We're like,
happened.
we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. It'll be okay.
That's why we talk about random things like bat bombs.
Yeah, that was. I just listened to that again. I was kind of partially mortified. There were a few
It's
racial.
mostly
There were some
racist.
racial slurs. There were 2 different times on there where it was like, "This is getting racial."
Yeah, it's
and
borderline
then,
racist.
Oh, got racist again.
But wait a minute. Okay.
But no, and
It's-
it's totally cool. I think it's because of our culture and the whole PC movement that just
Right.
it's ridiculous.
I can say with 1,000,000% certainty that no one who's in this room now, nor anyone who was in the room when we shot the podcast with Andrew Stanton, is anywhere remotely racist against anyone.
No.
but we've all been trained not to hurt people's feelings with funny jokes. So.
Exactly. I think
Heaven
honestly,
forbid.
I think the only race that you're allowed to be racist against is white people.
Yeah.
This is actually true.
I don't know. You could call white people pretty much anything, and they're not going to say anything about it. I think
This is starting to get racist.
the term is white remorse. What you talking about, Cracker?
So white. So white, I can't wear white shoes.
I tell you, we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, I remember
y'all are a
that.
little younger, but not that much younger. Do you remember when like the white K-Swiss shoes were the fashion?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
K-Swiss.
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 I just remember
you're
getting-
probably too young.
I'm a little younger, so
We're gonna have to get a studio deal with K-Swiss because this is the second podcast with. I think
it
we were
really?
talking. Yeah, we were talking about this with Paul.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Well,
K-Swiss.
yeah.
and then
Rehashing the white
socks.
shoe dilemma.
You do the white socks with the red stripes.
You gotta
That I
have
remember.
you gotta have
That I do
knee-high
remember.
socks though.
Yep. And the short-
baggy cargo pants.
Yeah, or the shorts that go just past your knee, so the socks go up to the shorts.
I actually saw a guy pushing carts for Kroger. You know, nothing wrong with that. But he had shorts on and then the knee-high white socks with the red stripes.
I don't know.
is it coming back? Because the 90s is making a comeback.
No,
so
dude.
Wait, is
that-
it really?
There were some
Dude,
things
yeah.
that there were some
The
things
90s
that
is
had
making a comeback,
one
man.
go
No way.
around. You know,
Yeah,
there was
like
there was one
Jnco.
glory day for
I was
that.
going to mention Jnco.
I had some Jnco pants.
Yep.
Did you really?
I did too. I had that face.
I had that. Mine had the big like J with the dude on the back
yeah,
pocket.
absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
big too.
You
yeah,
look like a
the back
circus
right pocket.
clown.
I think I was fortunate the fact that I went to a Christian school, so we weren't really able to wear stuff like that. So I was able to like slide under that phase and not get into into it.
I will tell you, I was
One of the few
Sneak people
benefits.
into bars with those pants.
So true.
I was poor growing up, and so I mean, and I trust me, I had a completely happy upbringing. I love my life. I love, no regrets. But the only Jncos that I ever had were hand-me-downs from people that my mom worked with. I was an only child, not really an only child, but essentially I was an only child.
Functionally.
Functionally, exactly. My siblings were much older. We had different mom. So any cool fashion I had came in as hand-me-downs from these boys I never even knew. And so I think I might have had one pair of Jncos, but I had like a lot of Jnco like merch. I had like Jnco shirts and Jnco hats. They held on to those darn pants.
I mixed it up. I'd have like a Stussy shirt, Jnco pants. What were the other? There was some inappropriate stuff too, like the Big Johnson shirts. Remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Big Johnson shirts? That's horrible. I'm not giving a shout out to that. I'm not gonna admit to owning those, but
Right.
I remember one. So I went to a public school till I was 13, and then I actually moved, and my stepmom taught at a private school, and so I went to that school. But but I remember wearing a Newport shirt to school one time. I was like in 4th grade. I didn't even know what Newport was.
Beach.
My mom's always smoked cool 100s, but before they had the blue packs, they were all green. And so I remember wearing a Newport shirt to school one day, and the principal actually coming and sitting next to me at the breakfast table before school started and saying, "Hey, listen, you can't wear that. We're gonna have to give you a shirt from our school for you to wear today, because you can't wear a shirt that's advertising a cigarette company." Like Newport. Isn't that
meanwhile,
a place?
Jake's family's getting a percentage because he's a billboard for their cigarette company. That was part of a program that Newport had set up to start kids younger at school.
Oh my god, it's genius.
Kids
That's
love
funny.
these shirts, man.
That is funny. Well, yeah. Well, Tom, how are you doing, man?
I'm good.
So,
I'm good.
Tom, so some of you might have seen, and if you haven't, you need to go look. But Tom is an incredible drummer, and so some of the work that we do here in the studio is some of the editing and mixing for his drum cover videos. So tell us about that. Like, I know that you've been doing them longer than I've known you, but
Yeah, I mean, basically, I saw, all the YouTube videos like growing up, Brooks, and
he's had some success doing the drum covers.
Absolutely. And then Luke Holland, and
So freaking good.
just a couple other people, that kind of just Cobus, and just they've always killed the scene. And I decided, well, this can't be too hard. And I learned that I was wrong. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my playing, and so if it's just I just did a little drum clip tonight of Whitewashed by August Burns Red.
Nice.
Great band.
And it was horrible because obviously Matt Greiner is a beast, and when it comes to I'm not big on like blast beats and stuff like that, so I just never played anything like that. But I was like, man, I'm doing all these covers, and I don't want to be a pansy and like just post easy covers. I want to do something that's like, oh wow, that was actually kind of hard, Little did I know that I was gonna have to like practice it like 200 times and still kind of butcher it, get by. But it's a lot of work that goes into it. And then obviously, when I give you the drum cover, it's like horrible. And then you make it like, oh, so.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. However, you can't make crap sound good. That's not true.
That's very false. And you know that.
Smear it around.
Listen,
smear it
you can
around.
polish turds, but there's no denying that it's still a turd. It's just shiny. You're a great drummer, and I appreciate you letting us do that. But yeah, so something, and I didn't actually talk to you about this ahead of time. But something I wanted to talk to you about. So Tom Riordan, I'm going to talk to the audience just for a second. Tom was our tour manager for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I've talked about Tom before on the podcast. What's really cool about Tom is we got off tour we did Winter Jam in 2012, went and recorded our album, finished. We were waiting on the album to come out. We weren't making any money, so I took a job cleaning parking lots for a little while. That job sucked. It was overnights, and literally I drove around in a big vacuum cleaner disguised as a pickup truck and drove all around Kentucky and Tennessee cleaning parking lots all night long. So I needed a job.
He would look so amazing at the end of the night. He looked like a freaking nuclear explosion happening.
Right
He was
here.
the
I'm going to post a picture right now. You're looking at a photograph of me after working all night. I had long hair and it would just turn into a fro. It was crazy. So, but no, I needed a job that wasn't overnights. Now, being broke as we were and actually always have been, we, only one vehicle. My wife was working at the time, so I needed a job I could walk to. So I walked down, it's the equivalent of two or three blocks from my house to the shopping center by where I lived, and there were a ton of businesses. So I went into every single business I possibly could that didn't require a college education, because I don't have one of those. So I submitted an application to every place I could at this shopping center, and I get a call back from this Tom Riordan. I go in, I do an interview. Now, I didn't want any job I got, but I didn't want at the time Tom to know that I was in a band.
That's right.
And so I did my darndest to fill out the application in such a way that I was not really lying, but I was being vague enough that you wouldn't really know I was in a band. And the reason is because a lot of places won't hire you if they know you're in a band and they know that you're going to be leaving for tour soon, and they want someone that's going to stick around and work their way up. And so I remember having that interview, and Tom, you actually asked me, so why did you move to Tennessee? And I think I told you for employment opportunities.
I don't remember.
Which is true. I mean,
Sure.
and so I tried to be as careful as I possibly could not to really spoil it, because I think even our bassist at the time, Dave, had applied a little bit before me,
Right.
and was interviewed by, I didn't know who at the time, turned
Right.
out to be a different guy, but when he told him he was in a band, he didn't get the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I moved to Tennessee to get jobs for other jobs,
To get the
things
jobs.
to work monies. And so I wound up getting the job, and Tom and I hit it off right away. But what is your perception of that whole story? And
So, I mean, in general, I was managing Moe's. I had played drums in a couple different Nashville no-name bands for a while, and really nothing came of it. So I was, just kind of doing the whole Moe's thing. I got promoted to a general manager. I bought a house. Life was good, But I still ever since I was younger, I knew I want to do something tour related. It's been a goal of mine ever since I stopped wanting to be a doctor. And it's I want to be on the road. And so when I saw Jake come in, he had long hair at the time. I knew, I was like, this guy's in a band. I just knew it.
I think I may even have had a nose piercing or something at the time. I don't remember.
Maybe. I didn't even realize you didn't still
Or
have
my
nose
eyebrow
pierced.
pierced or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Something was pierced.
Something.
But so I knew right off the bat that you were in a band of some sort, and I was like, okay, I'm going to surround myself around people that are at least in a band, regardless of whether it's big or small, simply because people that are in bands are entertainers, and it was just going to be good for business, right? So I think I hired you with no clue of what's going on. And
Dave spoiled it, right?
I think so, yeah, because
I got Dave the job, kind of.
yeah, you were like, hey, my buddy needs a job. I was like, okay, you're doing pretty good, bring him in. And then I hired Dave, And then Dave was like, yeah, he's in my band.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I hope you're watching this, Dave.
I was like the 1%, like everyone else, like you said, would have been like, wait a minute, let's undo this, and
Jake, you're fired.
Yeah, I was like,
Dave,
sweet.
you're not getting the job.
Okay, you guys are in a band, that's cool, and then we kind of hit it off. Little did I know that it was like 2 or 3 weeks before that, I had gone on vacation just to go on vacation. I saw that Switchfoot was playing at Rock the Universe
at Universal
Studios.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. I wanted to go to a theme park anyways. I ended up getting a good deal on it, so I went there. We were playing, or we were just walking around, listening to bands and whatnot, riding rides. And next to the Twister ride, stood there,
right next to the Twister ride,
watched
underneath
this band, play, and I was like, they're all right. And I walked off.
No way.
Walked off.
I've never heard this story.
Not even kidding. I walked off, and I had no idea, and went on my day. Well, little did I know that was We As Human. And then after talking to you, I think, it was like, oh yeah, we were playing like the stage next to the Twister ride, and I was like, oh great, like I was just kind of like, they're all right.
Oh, well, wait, actually, so I was still working my parking lot cleaning job when I applied, and I got the job, and I remember talking to you, and I asked you, hey, is it cool if I give my 2 weeks at this other job? Because I was trying to get out of that one, but I didn't want to quit there first and then maybe not get this job.
Right.
So I put in my 2 weeks, and during that 2 weeks is when you did your interview with Dave, and Dave told you that he was in my band. So that's when you connected the dots, realized, and it's during this 2 week period that we were We As Human. I was in We As Human. And I guess you had told another employee who was there. And so my first day, I walk in, right, thinking nobody's going to know. I'm just going to be a regular hourly employee. I'm going to put in my 9 to 5, get off at the end of the day. I'm only going to have this job for a couple months because, just like I said in the one of the other podcasts, that we thought our album was coming out in the January or something. So this was October of 2012. I thought, I'm just going to be a regular employee, fly under the radar, do as much as I have to do, and then leave. I walk in and I go to clock in, and I hear this other employee from the office shout, "Hey, rock star." And I just thought, oh crap.
Nice.
What? And so that's when I found out. Yeah, it turns out Tom saw you guys playing at Universal Studios. Like, how? Huh? How? What? Me? I don't know.
Nice.
You got the wrong guy. I was so scared. I thought, oh crap, they're never gonna fire me in like 2 weeks.
So at this time, you guys had like 17,000 likes on Facebook. I actually have a screenshot of it somewhere.
No way.
Yeah. And we all hit it off. We always had a ton of fun. Jake knew that, I wanted to, or I was playing drums, and that, I think I did like a horrible, horrible cover of Sever.
That's right.
It was
I remember seeing
horrible.
that. I remember seeing that way back.
Yeah,
too.
because
I
at
forgot
that
about
time, I just had no idea that like I should put some space between, because the old version of Sever just started boom right out, and I had no idea that I should actually put some space between starting that song. So I was just like, I probably tried it like 800 times, like to start on key, and it was absolutely horrible. So I took it down because it was absolutely no. But so that I think you guys came over, Justin and you and Dave came over to my house, and
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we kind of played for a little bit, barbecued and whatnot, and that's right around the same. Go ahead.
Well, I was already on staff at that point, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I got hired. You guys, Dave and Jake, were on staff, and then I don't know who brought it up.
You were working.
I was like, I need something
because
too.
you were working landscaping.
I was doing landscaping. And landscaping in Tennessee in the freaking heat of July is the most evil thing that you could ever do. I know Andrew Welsh says that he does landscaping and loves it, but he's insane. So I I don't know how that came about. You, I think, mentioned that they needed a new prep cook.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I don't have to interact with a lot of people. I can dice stuff up and
right.
eat
Hide
food in the back. And I was like, that's the job for me. So
Spit
set
in
up an
everybody's
interview
food.
with you,
Yep.
and it's like you asked me like 3 questions. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, 'cause I already had my mind set out that like Dave and Jake worked out so well that I was like, I mean, I think the guy that we had at the time, or girl that we had at the time,
That's
or
right.
whatever.
It was just kind of people just.
That's right.
Anybody who could.
So it was just kind of, it just made sense.
I was even doing
Yeah.
prep for a little while.
So I got
Yeah.
the job. I was doing prep, and then
So
we
I had 3 of you guys working for me.
yeah.
Meanwhile, we're still waiting for a record to come out. I
Yeah.
remember thinking, all right, it's going to be next month. All right, it's going to be
I
next
know.
month.
Yep.
All right, it's going to be next month. And it kept getting delayed. I actually remember we were at Moe's. We were there working when they sent over the first few drafts of our artwork. Originally, the album cover was going to be a white stallion. And it was the coolest looking thing. I was actually
Oh, that's
stoked.
right.
I
It looked
remember-
too much like Deftones, right?
It did. And I remember when the artwork for the door came in and just kind of being like, yeah, I don't like it. It's dumb. And the original artwork was dumb.
I know they
but
kept.
it was just like a
they
mock
kept
up.
beating that whole like door.
Yeah.
It's cool, but
And let me
we
just put it to death right now. It is not an upside down
Oh my God.
cross.
I was going to
It's
say that.
just a
I was
freaking
gonna
door.
say that.
That said, even if it was an upside
Jake
down
just
cross,
doesn't know.
even if it was an upside down cross, was it Paul or Peter?
Oh gosh, yeah, he was crucified upside down.
Yeah,
which
it was
is an amazing testimony.
Was it Paul or Peter though?
testimony. Yeah, no,
It's Peter, right?
I think it was
it's
Peter.
Peter.
Oh,
and
right, 'cause-
that's folklore. I don't know if that's necessarily.
I don't know if it's true or not. However,
It's a cool story.
True or not, it is an amazing story that he didn't feel worthy to be crucified in the same manner as his savior. So he was
True.
crucified upside down. So an upside down cross is
It's a great story.
It's a cool.
And by the way,
way,
our minds were blown when that came out. Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's an upside down cross."
No.
We're like, "Wait a minute."
My
what?
mind's blown,
Wait,
but it's
what?
not. It's not surprising that people. I mean, no offense to the people. Well, actually, yeah, offense to you guys. You're freaking dumb.
if you thought that was an
You
upside down
thought-
cross,
Then you need to take inventory in your house because
Sure.
4-panel doors
Exactly.
are everywhere, and
There's one right
maybe
there.
maybe the Illuminati got to your home, and freaking the contractor's like, "Yep, 4-panel doors."
Exactly.
That kind of stuff is so stupid.
well, I kind of like the idea that we're part of the Illuminati. We totally are.
It really just goes to the fact of you're looking at something way too long.
it's
You're trying to find something
We're
wrong
on a
with
tangent now, but it's a hobby. Like the whole conspiracy thing is a hobby for people who need something in their life. And
So
you know
I
what?
totally forgot about the door thing, but before I knew who y'all were, I remember seeing random people post it was an article or something about that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like New Release Tuesday, like a site like that. It might not have been them, but someone posted it before I even knew who this
Yeah.
band was.
Well, I mean,
okay, that's stupid.
The thing is like if that's the issues that we need to be worried about is like 4-panel doors and stuff. Like, why don't we? I mean, as believers, we love God, we honor Christ. Why don't we like stand up for something like marriage? You know, like a real issue. Let's
That's no
get
joke.
behind something. Let's support people and families and mothers and you know, let's do something like that. Why is it that there are people who break down door panels? Like, this is what I'm gonna. You
need
know
to
what? I'm
figure
gonna
out new
spend
ways
my
to make
life
doors.
debunking freaking Christian artwork because there is some Illuminati involved. Oh, sorry, guys. Time to grow
So to
up.
get back on topic.
Moe's to Illuminati.
So I think at that time you were trying to. There was like talks of the album coming out. There was talks of new tours and whatnot.
We're going out with Red. That's
right,
spring. Dropped our first single. It finally got mixed and mastered.
Southbound Fearing.
Yeah, Southbound
Love
Fearing.
those guys. What's
Yeah.
up? What's up?
And so you were trying to steal me, and I was like, dude, I just bought a house. Like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I was like, we need a tour manager.
Yeah, and I think some things fell through with me coming out with Red. Instead, I came out when Adam had some family.
Right, you came out for 5 dates, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So that was really fun.
It was
Yeah.
a good time.
that was like the biggest crowds I had played for. And
the biggest one was the one in Texas, right?
Yep,
The
Houston.
trees?
No,
Or
it wasn't the trees. It was that big
It was
warehouse.
Houston, yeah.
Oh, Houston, that's
Texas.
right.
Yeah, we went and freaking did the NASA adventure.
Yes,
You were part of that?
I know, that was amazing.
That's
I remember sitting in the back of
Yep.
this dude's truck getting shuttled in, and we like
Exactly.
parked.
It was
to meet up with
Robbie.
the go kart. We're like, dude, this is a go kart, a golf cart, and we were just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Exactly. Yep.
Can't top this one.
Well, and I think the hardest thing was that you guys were kind of like, okay, I'm some random guy. You guys couldn't give me the songs because they hadn't been released yet.
That's right.
And so I literally had just a very, very small amount of time to learn the songs before, because it was like, okay, well, hey, our manager doesn't really want us to give you the songs.
Didn't we make you practice tracks? Like we record. I remember this now. We
Exactly.
recorded them during a rehearsal.
Exactly.
This is the truth. We recorded them on a 4-track tape recording machine
To the Tascam, yeah.
in the basement. And I think I bounced those down into a stereo something into a computer so I could email them to you.
Yeah, that way it wasn't the whole track or the real track.
They hadn't even released them to us yet. I don't think.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was fun.
Which I mean, at the time we were only playing like 4 or 5
Sure.
songs,
Yeah. It
something
wasn't
like that.
bad. I mean, we were able to make it work.
Ah, wow! I forgot about that.
Yep. And then so I used all my vacation days for that.
Oh wow!
Yep. Used my vacation day. I was like, I would work. I worked all the way up until then, and then we went for that like extended period of time, and came back, and then just back to the grind.
Because 5 tour days equates to almost like 2 weeks gone.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think things kind of started to come together. I think we all gelled really well because it was, instead of just us 3, it was Adam and Justin Cordell. And, so we all kind of hit it off. And then that's when I think some things came through and we were able to get me out on the Carnival of Madness. So my first tour was the Carnival of Madness.
That's right. That's a pretty big first tour.
Yeah, that was so scary. I was scared, because Shinedown's tour manager, Jake, awesome guy,
Oh yeah,
but a scary guy.
scary dude.
Oh, yeah.
he's big too. He's mammoth.
Yes, and he's super, super nice, super great guy. But, just like me coming off as somebody who knows nothing about that, trying to go up and talk to somebody who's been doing it for years, and then seeing how everything kind of gets thrown up and everything. But I mean, it came out well.
Well, I'll back up a little bit and say that something that really impressed me about you was at the time you were incredibly young. I won't say your age if you don't want me to.
Oh, you can say my age.
You were 20 years old. I think you had actually just turned 20.
Yep.
And you turned 20. I started in October. You turned 20 in November.
Yeah.
And you were the general manager of Moe's Southwest Grill, and you were doing a killer job. We're taking a photo.
Hey, no, don't mind me.
But yeah, you were managing the store, and I knew what we needed. We needed someone who was organized, someone who could handle some of the things that we just weren't able to handle. We did Winter Jam without a tour manager, when every other band at least had a tour manager or someone to
Merch
help them
guy
with
or
stuff.
something, yeah.
And we had nobody. And it caused a lot of stresses in a lot of other areas because we were just spread so thin. Tour, you don't get a lot of sleep.
Right.
And you're away from your family. It's just everything is your stress is just heightened. And so I knew we needed somebody, and I knew that you were incredibly responsible. You were young. You loved music. You had an incredible knowledge of bands, and you were just cool to be around. And you didn't have a problem with throwing down when the time came. So that was what I looked at. And I remember calling the other guys. We actually got on a group call and saying, "Hey, look, I'm kind of putting my neck out here, but there's this guy, and he is my manager actually at Moe's. But I know we're going to need somebody, and this guy I think is the perfect fit because he's easy to get along with, and he's just awesome." And so that was, I think Justin Cordell actually had the most reservations out of anybody and bringing you out. It just worked out really well.
Yeah.
And we got along with you like really, really, really good.
Some good times, man.
That was some good
Hey,
times.
you've got some videos from me that probably get me banned from like all media,
Banned
and
from Earth.
touring, and
I'm pretty
Earth.
sure I have videos from everyone that
I know.
could get everyone,
Incriminating
including
stuff.
myself.
I mean, those things didn't happen.
No, they didn't. They were few and far between, but when they happen, boy, they happen.
Man. Tour life, hashtag tour life.
Yeah.
Tour life.
There's a reason that I don't delete stuff off my phone.
No, I got some too. Gotta save those for
I
a
mean,
rainy day.
Whoa.
Hey, Tom, my phone's dead. I need to make a phone call really quick. Can I borrow your phone?
Mine just died.
Well, it's crazy having really, really cool like things happen. Going to see NASA and just crazy
did
events
crazy
on the road,
things.
just crazy random stuff. And then the craziness would continue like the day after when we pull back in and have to go work at Moe's again. Like
Yeah,
we literally, it was just like
absolutely.
nonsense that just never stopped, constantly.
And it's I think you touched on this very, very, very briefly earlier, and most people probably missed it, but you mentioned something about musicians working and how that would be a good idea. Mm-hmm. And it's really true. And it's funny because I hadn't even thought about that as like a selling point for why anyone should hire me. But the truth is we interact with people
Right.
all day long, every day. And regardless of the kind of day we have, and we have bad days, we have to try at least to kind of put on a happy face and give everybody our all. And
Yeah.
that was something that really kind of translated into my work day at a place where I was dealing with grumpy, hungry people all day long, trying to just make everybody feel like they were my buddy.
And that's a huge point because, I mean, how many times did we barely make it on stage?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Barely.
Seriously,
that happened a lot.
And not because we're just lazy and running late, because like we left early to be there early, and then the van blows up, or
Trailer gets
yeah.
hitched from a bus and
Wheels-
appears on the side of the
seriously.
road.
Wheels
Exactly.
fell off.
I just
Wheels.
posted that picture the other day. Yeah, exactly. The wheel well, falls down and shreds your tire. I think that's happened like 7 or 8 times.
Many times.
Unfortunately, I think we could just take the wheel wells off.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But and it's horrible days, and just with us like literally just getting along so well, we were able to take those horrible days and still like be able to get to the venue. And I mean, I was the only guy there, right? So like, it's not like we had a crew of people, so that means that you guys are now crew as well.
Yeah.
So and that was like that up until Canada, like last January, and you just you gotta run to the show, and then you gotta run to be able to get everything set up, and oh, by the way, you guys are on stage in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No sound check today.
Yeah,
I heard that so much.
That was every day.
I don't
That
think we
was
could
literally
escape
every
that.
day.
There were opening bands, like local bands, that would have
was
half
probably
hour
the
sound
joke.
checks, and we would get up and they'd be like, "Nope, no sound check,
Yeah.
line check only."
It was probably like, oh, guys, we as humans on that tour, no sound checks for
No
them.
sound check.
They love doing.
I know.
no sound
I hated
checks.
that. That was the one thing. I don't know why it was like that for us.
Look,
But
I want to give the listeners a peek because we're kind of talking band talk right now, but there's this whole world that probably a lot of concert goers don't even think about. But when you're on stage, you have to be able to hear yourself. All that stuff that's on stage had to get set up by somebody at some point. And sure, the big bands have a crew of people that go up and they set all that stuff up for them. And they have other people that come in and play it all and sound check it for them. But when you're a newer band, and I won't even say a newer band anymore, until you're selling, 1 million records, you're doing it all yourself. And so when you don't get an opportunity, and, every venue's different. Every venue, they're using different microphones through a different board. Someone else is mixing you if you don't have your own monitor engineer.
Because we didn't have our own gear as far as that end goes.
We didn't have any sort of mics or anything like that. So, and even if we did, the hassle, we would have to set them all up and
Sure.
run the cables ourselves
Exactly.
and all that, or you would have had to. And so it's important that you at least get an opportunity to play through it, half a song and know what you're going to sound like. And if you don't have an opportunity to do that, then you get up on stage for that first song and you're like, I can't hear anything.
Or particularly for the people that don't play guitar, just because your guitar cable worked yesterday does not mean that it's going to work today.
It's kind of like with anything. Yeah, you can't rely on anything on the road. Especially when you're going from like, frigid north to blazing hot in the south, and all your guitar strings like rot and fall off before you get there. And you don't have time to change them because you're going to be on in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's it's some of the fun, some of the things that one of the reasons we call this ruined radio is because it's the radio is kind of this perfect image of bands and artists, and when you hear your favorite band on the radio, you have this idea that they've made it, they're big, and part of ruining that facade is saying that artists, bands, probably some of the biggest bands you've seen, work really, really hard to try to fake this image of, no, we are incredibly successful and we're going to prove it to you by making it seem like we never have a problem.
We won't take pictures in the trailer park.
Exactly.
It's true, yeah.
And
absolutely.
And I won't even say, I may have worded that wrong. Successful bands just aren't necessarily, some of them are, but most of them aren't really making a lot of money. They're not, they're still playing shows that nobody comes to.
Yeah.
And you just have to be really careful, the photographs where there's, 5 people at the stage watching you play and no one else is there, that those pictures don't go out.
Justin would, some of those shows, like in the Carnival of Madness, when the crowd was kind of dwindled out and kind of sparse, like Photoshop
the extra people. Seriously, that happened because I was the one taking those pictures. And then
and you'd see it later, you'd be like, whoa, what's that? Where'd they come from?
Well, no, because I'd send them to Justin, and he'd be like, all right, if we're gonna post that one, we're gonna have to kind of beef it up a little bit. It's bad for the tour, it's bad for everything, But no, that's a valid point, and I think one thing for myself, I would never give up the experience of touring in a van and road dogging it. You know what I'm saying? And just because of the fact that, sure, being in a bus, a full-blown bus is nice, But I mean, my preference, I like being able to stop at a gas station or, being able to like go off route for a little bit and, figure out or get lost, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, because it kind of just keeps it fresh.
Oh, yeah. We had we'd pull over. I was talking about this the other day. Pull over on the side of the road and throw the football for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was always fun.
Exactly.
Go to B-dubs.
Yeah. Seriously.
So much beat-ups.
2:00 in the morning. Let's just pull over and go to Waffle House or the Burger Shake joint. What's that called?
What was that place?
Steak and Shake.
No, what was that place in Dallas? I was trying to think about
Buzz
it.
Brew.
Buzz Brews.
Buzz Brews. That's right.
Oh.
Coffee. Oh my gosh. So Buzz Brews, Dallas, Texas. If you're anywhere near Dallas, go to Buzz Brews. It's they roast their own coffee. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They don't, but they have their just amazing coffee 24 hours a day, and there's a few of them around the area, and they're super tiny. They're open 24 hours, and the food is just so good. And Buzz Brews. We had some unique interactions with people at Buzz Brews at like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met a Olympic medal soccer player.
Something like that. Yeah.
Were you there for that? I can't remember.
It sounds
I think
familiar.
it was one of the team USA or something like that.
Yeah.
He was Olympic, but he was the worst server on the planet. And it was his first day on the job and his last day on the job while we were being served. And we actually watched the whole thing unfold. He was very rude to people that were short with him, and a couple came in, I think, just weren't happy with the service, and he accosted them, and the manager came in, and we witnessed a big meltdown. That was pretty cool.
I remember that.
Yeah. But there was always something like that.
The same day we randomly sat at a table with a U.S. senator or something. I don't remember.
I remember that. That was like the last time that we were at Buzz Brews. There was a bunch of people there.
Oh, there were,
They were like political party or something like that.
Yeah.
Can't remember what party, but
And they just were talking and talking and talking and talking because they had
were
a little
the
too much
after
to
party.
drink. Yep.
well, 3 a.m. at Buzz Brew. I mean,
What do you expect?
That's what you get.
That's funny.
Yeah. What are you vaping on over there, Forshaw?
I am vaping the same old. I need to mix it up. I have vanilla bourbon, and I changed my color in my smoke.
Does that thing strobe?
I wish. Probably. I just haven't figured it out. I was stoked that I could change the color on it. So
That thing will go fetch your slippers in the morning for you if you just use the app. Come
Whoa.
on. Is that green?
That's the yellowish green.
Nice.
I had lavender on a little while ago.
I've got
Celebrating the lighter side.
what I have turtle cheesecake. It's really good. Gotta shout out to E-Vapors for hooking us up. And E-Vapors, they're local, but evapors.com, they will ship out their juices. They have an incredibly huge selection of anything you want. I love my tank. I love my battery. Got them both from there. And honestly, we've been to vapor shops all over the country. You're not going to find better prices than you can find with these guys. And they make their juice all in-house themselves to make sure that there's not any kind of weird additives, weird chemicals.
No strychnine.
No strychnine. and so evapors.com, go online if you vape. It's really important to make sure that the juice you're getting doesn't have a bunch of preservatives and a bunch of crap in it that are going to make you sick.
Yeah.
And if you want a place that you can rely on and know that you're getting juice that's safe and not going to harm you, evapors.com. Also, like I said, best prices, coils.
And if you smoke, stop smoking. I mean, it's time. It's time to get some vapor.
Life-saving technology.
This will change it for you, and you won't have to get cancer.
Good quality juice is huge, though. Like, once I went to a gas station and I was like, pina colada?
Gas
that sounds
station.
really
Pina
good.
colada.
Right? Pina colada, right? And it was horrible.
We mixed it up in the mop bucket.
It was absolutely horrible. Seriously, it literally tasted like that.
Yeah.
But E-Vapor Sinister Guitar Picks also hooking us up. I need to send an email to those guys.
I know. If you're watching, I don't know what his problem is. No, we're so busy. We don't have time to do anything.
Well, those guys, what all do they do? I mean, I know they do guitar picks.
They do everything. Custom guitar picks, a lot of apparel. Their apparel is really sick. I mean, I'm
really
rocking
awesome.
a necklace. I've had this necklace. I've had like 3 of these. They're well made, but I'm kind of stupid with things and break stuff a lot. So a lot of cool shirts, guitar picks, obviously.
Yeah, shoot.
a lot
of the shirts you wore on tour were Sinister.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
awesome
that was it. I didn't really need to do anything with my wardrobe. Just Sinister and some cool pants.
And they're the home of the metal guitar pick, which is
They
really
have
cool.
They're handmade,
That's right.
custom metal edge. No, they have a custom metal edge on them.
Custom metal edge.
I'm all phlegmy. I'm getting over being sick. Help. Hand makes them. They're amazing. I like metal picks. I've always liked metal picks. And that's kind of a weird thing. A lot of people are like metal picks. I remember, I don't even know how I randomly came upon an aluminum, it's like a red little jazz style aluminum pick. And I loved it. So it was really cool to meet up with them and see a guy making them by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sinister guitar picks, great. I mean, especially if you're a touring band, you're going to need lots of picks. I know I went through 10 picks a day. I felt like Sinister guitar picks that they do custom stuff. That really, really
and you're not
cool
going to want
things.
some stupid Dunlops with a turtle on them if you're a professional band.
Turtle.
Throw them out like, oh yeah, this is the pick from Bob from that band. Like, really? It looks like a stupid like turtle pick.
Just don't throw metal picks out.
Just don't throw. I thought about that. Like sharpen them up, just flick them out there as hard as you can.
It's like a ninja star.
I like 2 mil picks. Just chuck them and break glass.
Dude, I made that mistake with drumsticks, not realizing throwing them overhand. They get a lot of speed really
I did that
fast.
Once. I did that once.
It's just
I want to say it was like my first show that we were on the Red Tour, and I was like, I'm gonna be cool. You know, everyone throws drumsticks, and I was like, my adrenaline was just so high that I was just like, shoom.
I think that
it
one
just
actually
take a lot
was
of
in
effort
Dallas.
for a lot of power to go into that.
And I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that.
Dude, I remember
kid.
over the summer, I can't remember if I said this on a podcast earlier, but I think it was Soul Fest, the one that was like a 25-hour drive, whichever one that was. The one that was like New Hampshire or something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the show, the lights went, we were like, okay, show's over. The lights were all up. The crowd lights were on. So I just went and just chucked the drumstick out. I didn't throw it overhand. I just kind of threw it like that. As soon as I let it go, they killed every light. First set
Nice.
change,
Nice.
right when I let it out. And I'm like, oh, God.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, let's come back to the second one because they both broke. Same thing. Lights go down right when it leaves my hand.
Really?
Yeah. Like, guy's going to impale somebody. I'm going to get sued or something. It's going to suck.
Yeah. Where were you on Winter Jam? We should have had you out there. I had nothing but radio contestant winners, so throwing anything, they just sit there and it just bounce off their face. They had no catch picks.
Don't care.
You know, some of them were like 50 years old, you know, and they were right on stage left. So I'd be throwing stuff at them and they just kind of look at me. So chucking drumsticks would have been really fun.
Yeah.
I should have started chucking drumsticks just as a guitar player. Just go grab them and like throw them at people.
Fun fact, I remember meeting you in Cordell on Winter Jam back in 2012.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the first year that I was backstage hanging out, and I remember just passing you guys because I didn't know who you were. Like, hey man, good, like, cool set. I specifically remember meeting you. I don't know, remember meeting Jake at all.
Yeah,
I remember meeting you in Cordell.
I remember meeting you on. We did like some theme
It was
park.
King's Dominion. I was going to comment on that earlier. Yeah,
That was the worst. It was the
So
hottest
hot.
show I've ever. They
that's
built
literally hell.
It was the
temperature-wise
worst
for a
show
show.
I've ever played heat-wise.
Absolutely.
I got off stage lightheaded and literally, like, we're supposed to scramble to get all the gear off the stage. And I've probably talked about this a million times, but I couldn't. I just had to sit down like, sorry, I can't help you right now. I'm done.
And to give an
it's
idea,
over.
the way the stage, the way the whole thing's set up is the sun, when it's setting into the stage. So the crowd, it's to their back, which I guess is why they designed it that way. But the crowd's sitting in metal bleachers, so you're already melting. And then the band is getting the sun straight in their face. So yeah, it's a terrible setup.
Yeah, it was.
And it's a pain in the tail just to get the gear off the stage of that thing too. It's like 25 feet off the
That's
ground or
right.
something
They
like
had to,
that.
they had to like
They had like
lift
an
up.
elevator lift or something.
Yeah, they had like a lift, like a forklift to lift all the gear up.
Because the only way on stage was there's a staircase in the back.
Yeah,
That was the only way up
That's
and
right.
down.
I remember that. But I remember like sitting in the back and catering or something like that. You were there like interviewing somebody for like Evans or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
might have been. I can't remember.
And I remember
that
the
whole thing's a
dumbest
blur.
things,
The other
but-
show that was like King's Dominion for me was Memphis. What's the river?
Oh,
the zoo amphitheater.
That's right.
Is
That's
it
right.
the zoo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Direct sunlight, right at dusk, middle of summer, just dying. And you can probably go find the video on YouTube. And just like I'm trying my best to try to play the right notes, but I wanted to die.
Because that's another one. The sun is sitting
just
right
as
there,
hot
just
as it can
blaring
in your
on you.
face.
Yep.
You
And it's
just
Memphis,
sweat
so
it
it's
out.
already nasty
Oh,
out.
sticky,
it's-
nasty.
yeah.
Your guitar turns into just a big sludge.
Dude, we had
pile.
one in Florida when I was playing for Jamie. We had to wear pants, long sleeve button down shirts, ties, all this crap.
Yeah.
Miami, Florida, middle of May, sun setting right into the stage. It was like 100 degrees plus the sun hitting us.
Nice.
And that's Jamie Grace, right?
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Yeah, sorry, Jamie Grease.
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. What they're trying to do is put the sun to the audience's back,
Right.
so that they can see the stage and the sun's in their face. But I promise nobody took the band's well-being into consideration.
Not at all. Not at
That
all.
show at King's Dominion by a million percent was the hottest show that I ever played. It was, we're dressed in black. Sure, that's our fault. However, that didn't matter. I remember the gear on stage being so hot you couldn't touch
That's
it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous.
I remember that.
That's the only time I've ever actually come very close to passing out in my life. Was that show, and it was because it was so hot.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the day before y'all were there. I was helping, I think it was 9 Lashes. Like the wind was blowing really hard, and they had 2 of like the 6 foot by 6 foot banners on each side of the stage, and they couldn't get weighed down enough because of the wind. So they're like, hey, can some people hold them down? So we did, and I leaned up against a drum riser just to sit down, not paying attention, and it burned the side of my leg. It was metal. I didn't think about it. It just like singed the side of my leg.
Yep.
Just the split second of touching it.
It's crazy.
We
But yeah,
thought
that's the
about
first time I met you guys.
We thought about
Or you.
doing like a background with some carts on the stage that had broken glass.
Oh, that's right.
And I was thinking
That's right.
about
I
that for
remember
the
that.
shows that are in the middle of summer where we're,
That's right.
sun's going down and that's reflecting on people.
Yeah.
Like lasers.
Blinding people, yeah.
Yeah, we never did go through with it, but like I was
It's
concerned
probably a
about
good
that.
thing we didn't.
It was a good idea, just wouldn't have been executed
No.
well.
Wouldn't have been a good idea, but like broken shards of glass and having
Sure.
to haul that around. Just
That was my
Someone
concern.
would have lost a finger.
yeah. Like,
remember-
not only did people get burned to death, but now we're all slit up and in the hospital with cuts. Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
having those discussions, kind of those production meetings about that, and like, really? Broken shards of mirror on set carts, and you have to understand band gear, when you load it up in a trailer, looks one way. When you close the back of the trailer, it looks like little elves snuck in overnight and rearranged everything. Like, I can't imagine having glass in there, and I don't think it would matter how well you secured it. Anytime you're taking them off stage, putting them on stage, and at those bigger festivals, there are stagehands that help pick that stuff up.
That's what I was going to say. Sometimes you can't even load your own gear.
It's against the law because of the unions.
Chicago.
Yeah. And I can't imagine the bloody mess that would be with cut up hands and arms.
tonight, guys. Sorry.
Like the speed bump you hit, probably like pulling into the first venue, you have those things, just the whole thing just comes undone and just shattered glass in the whole back of the trailer.
Yikes. Yeah. Well, it was a cool idea, I guess.
Good idea.
Get out all the bad ideas, onto the good ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is really the first vodcast in kind of the wake of everything that went on this past weekend with kind of the band, We As Humans official farewell.
Well,
and if you
want to talk about that?
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
I just mean, it's
No, I'm with you.
It's something that's been that we've known about, I guess, for a little while, but we're kind of hoping the situation might turn around, and it didn't.
Yeah.
But in light of that, that's we do have some really cool things that we've been working on, and some songs we've been writing. And I think what's been really cool is kind of discovering ourselves and our songwriting abilities over the last 6 months, because really that's how long it's kind of been.
Yeah, we've been writing a lot.
Yeah, and that's been really cool.
Writing for a lot of different people, which has only been kind of adding to the inspiration and just getting it out, being able to write a lot of different topics, and now what we've got going on, super excited about.
Yeah.
Which is, like, We As Human may be done only because there was one owner of We As Human. He's chosen to kind of do his own thing, but the rest of us are still ready to make awesome music.
Yeah. And so I guess, I could definitely go on the record and say that, yes, We As Human is over. The name is gone. And on paper, We As Human is owned by Justin Cordell. And so he doesn't, he's chosen specifically not to pursue music any longer and to kind of pursue his own thing. And so even if we wanted to, we couldn't hire a new lead singer and continue. That's not even an option. But essentially it will be, it'll be awesome. And our goal, I think, is to be more awesome and to have better music and go bigger, harder, and really just pick up where we left off the best that we can, and hopefully forge a new path and a new future. I just wanted to say that and kind of
clear the air.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions, and it's it's kind of hard to. We've spent the last 6 months pretending like nothing's happened as far as kind of the public is concerned, and trying to be careful about what we say and as respectful as we possibly can be, and
more so have a positive mindset.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like a hopeful mindset.
Sure.
Yeah. And I can say there is absolutely nothing but love. And if you know the situation, great. If you don't, great. It doesn't even really matter at the end of the day.
No.
Yeah.
All that matters is that there's nothing but love, and rather than focusing on everything that's happened, we're choosing to just focus on the future, and because that's where we're going. It doesn't.
Sure.
Where we've been, sure, it matters because it helped us get here. But other than that, dwelling in it isn't going to do any good. And so,
and trust me, guys, the songs are really, 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 really good. Really good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you may have even heard snippets of some of them if you've seen us live. Some of that stuff was written by Justin and I, and we may choose to use some of that, and we may not. I don't know, but I'm excited. It's a cool thing, and We're going hard.
Yeah. Oh, and one of the things, I mean, with We As Human, because it got so big and so corporate, so to speak, there were a lot of people in the pot. There were a lot of opinions about things. And there have been a lot of bands that have had situations like that too, where they kind of come out and they're like, we're just kind of doing our own thing now. We're going to release this album independent because we're broken away from the label. And not to be cliche, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, but we have a lot of influences that really didn't necessarily come out with We As Human stuff, just, because of the style and the genre and the way that, things were. We added to it the best we could with our composition skills and with writing skills. I mean, there was definitely lyrics that were inspired by us that Justin took and did some things with. But this is, I mean, really, like, this is from the ground up us. We're in a studio, we're producing it all, we're writing the guitar parts, we're talking into microphones. But sorry, you're moving my mic. But we're building this just kind of, grassroots from the ground up, and pulling from all those elements that we did with We As Human, from some of the guitar heroes, the Tremontis, the Steve Vais, the Misha, and just throwing it in there.
So I want to bring something up really quick. I've seen a lot of questions, obviously without the lead singer that we had.
Yeah.
Being a part of this, a lot of people have asked, who's going to sing. I've even had some other singers, some amazing guys, some amazing singers reach out and say, hey, look, you guys don't have a singer right now, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Instrumental?
Well, and
I've done that. It's a good way to not sell records, but it's really fun.
It is fun. We've had some people offer to step up and kind of do that, but I want you to share your experience. I want you to start with Mindslip. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, let's. I got to give a shout out to my boys in Mindslip. Those guys are awesome. Had a great time this last summer. What was it? September. I'm so bad with time. Like, my brain just doesn't.
I don't know.
It was
maybe even before that, right?
August, September, October. Yeah, something like that. I'm an idiot, but just put a feeler out on Nashville Gig Finder, which there's a couple of Facebooks. I don't know if I should give that away because everybody's going to go add Nashville Gig Finder. They're going to
kick me out. If you live in Nashville
and you want to play music,
you're trying to find a gig,
that's the one. But I threw this ridiculous post up.
And it was ridiculous.
It was really ridiculous. I have a way of doing that. It was like, hilarious. Experienced lead guitar player looking to find, some part-time work.
But what you said was funny.
The attire, like lumberjack attire, accepting but not necessarily preferred. Like, I don't want to totally do the hipster thing, but I'm willing to do. I put something like that up there. I wish I could just pull it up and read it. Sure enough, I got a message back from a management company based off of that retarded nonsense. Actually, a woman named Jennifer Miller, who's super cool, contacted me and mentioned this group Mindslip that had just kind of had a falling out with a guitar player and needed somebody for a couple of gigs, one of which was with Mark Tremonti. And so I'm like, this is it. Mark Tremonti, I'm doing it. I don't care. And then I got the material and fell in love with it. The guys are great writers. A couple of guys in particular, James and Danny, just crushing it with their writing ability and just with the technique and everything involved with it. So I started rehearsing. They gave me creative control with lead guitar parts and stuff. So I sat in the studio and just went to town, wanted to impress Mark Tremonti. So went down, played the show. It was killer. Hung out with Mark Tremonti beforehand. He showed me some cool custom guitars. Got to, talk to him, talk shop. Played the show, and then later hung out with the band and got to sit down with Mark Tremonti, which was really cool. Actually, I don't know, we haven't told this story, but snuck Luke, who's 18 years old, into a bar. That was it was, in hindsight, it was the right decision. It's kind of hard to say that. Like, I don't encourage people to sneak into bars, but we're standing at the doorway. I've got Luke. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna hang out with Mark tonight. This is gonna be awesome. Bouncer gets in my face, like, where are you going, man? Like, well, I can go. My ID's like, no, you guys, you need to get out of here. You can't come in. It just happens to be a fight right as he's trying to get me out, and I grab Luke, and we just jetted to the back of this bar. Hanging out with Mark, we were just like trying not to be total fangirls, which was really difficult.
This is Mark Tremonti.
Mark Tremonti,
who really built his empire on Creed as Creed's guitarist.
He did.
And then when Scott Stapp went bananas,
he Alter Bridged it up, and Alter Bridge is a fantastic band. I mean, I can't think of a better way to follow up a really difficult situation with a band that's just that awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, super, super cool.
So already,
Yeah.
kind of some
Some
relata-
similar,
some
very
relatability
relatable. Yeah, I
with-
mean,
with
part
Mark.
of me going down there was, obviously the Mindslip stuff was incredible.
Those are a really, really great band.
Yeah,
Look them up.
really, really good stuff. So obviously, I'm not going to go play without that. But I really know a cool incentive was like, hey, we're opening up for Mark Tremonti. That's really cool, and maybe I'll get to sit down and pick his brain a little bit. So we make it back, and we get to hang out with him. And I'm sure his perspective. He's not a believer, so got to take some things with a grain of salt. There's a different perspective involved, but more or less kind of, hey man, this is what's going on with We As Human. Our singer's kind of making some really bad decisions that are affecting all of us. And he kind of looked at me with a grin on his face and just shook his head. And he basically told me, he's like, singers ruin everything. That was the exact, Mark Tremonti quote. It was like, singers ruin everything.
Which, I mean...
It's
not
facetious
always
a little
true,
bit. No,
right.
it's not always
In
true.
In his situation,
but
it was true.
That jaded kind of common thread came out a little bit.
Right.
So
we kind of knew in our situation, our singer was definitely brought down We As Human.
And they had a few beers, so he was being very open and sharing his perspective, maybe more so than, in any other kind of circumstance. But he basically was like, you need to be the singer. You guys need to write the music. You need to be the singer. You need to do this. Don't let anybody else take control of that. Regardless of how big you think you're going to get. As musicians, as real musicians, working musicians, we don't care about being famous. I don't get up in the morning and think how can I position myself in the industry that I'll be like the next big band. I just love playing. I love sharing positive music that affects people, and sometimes negative music that has a positive spin that is God-centric. Really kind of put people in a place where they can start thinking about deeper thoughts and about Christ and about just life in general, and really, be able to make that work somehow in a situation that is kind of negative. You know,
I'm going to pause your story just for a second. I will say, and you told me this just the other day, just this past Saturday we were riding, that you even kind of fell into it for a minute maybe, but I will say, for every musician, of course, when you make the decision to pursue the bigger stage, you want the record label, you want the management, you want the booking agency, you want to go on tour, you want to be all over the country, you want to be all over the world. There is a moment where you want to be famous. There's this idea that if I'm famous, if thousands or millions of people know who I am, then that will make me happy, that will fulfill me, and that's all I want. I remember thinking, if I could just have my 15 seconds of fame. Shoot, I remember the first time Justin Cordell called me from We As Human. They weren't even on a record label or anything. They had some songs on the radio.
Yeah, it's the perception.
And I remember thinking, you know what? Even if I don't get this gig with We As Human, at least I got to talk to Justin Cordell on the phone, which is just a funny story. I remember telling him that later, but that idea that fame, it goes away really, really, really fast. This if I can only, if I get to play one big festival, if I get to go on one tour, then I could walk away happy. That leaves so fast. And you're left, if you don't have a bigger, better reason for why you want to tour, why you want to write music, why you want to do this life, because it's a really, really, really tough life. And, I kind of always had this idea that it was a bit of a white collar job. Right? You kind of go in, you get to write music, and you get to stand on stage and play your shows, and people just love you and they love your music. It is not a white collar job. It is 100% a blue collar job. You get up early in the morning, you drive, and then you work really hard, physical labor, you load, you unload your gear, and that goes on for years and years. It's a long time before you're able to afford a crew that can even just help you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, because once you start making money, then you got to get a crew, because you're to the point of where, okay, money's coming in, and now we need more people to be able to help us out, make our lives easier.
And suddenly,
then you're not making money. Exactly. You got this big old tour bus. You got 4 or 5 people touring with you. Everything's great. To the public, you're this massive band. But to your bank accounts and to your wife and kids sitting at home eating ramen.
Yeah, it becomes a just in more of an investment because you're always
Sure.
like you're growing the band, you're throwing more money into it, more production, more crew, more this, more that. I mean, you could probably, just go your whole career using the band to invest in opportunities to do other things. I
Right.
mean, like that.
Right.
That's kind of how
Yep.
it goes.
But yeah, so all that to say that it's at first maybe it might have something to do with I want to be famous, but really quickly it's not about that. It's about wanting to put out good music, and as people who have dedicated their lives to serving Christ first and foremost above anything else, then it becomes your message, your path, your destiny, your everything to let people know that there's a God that is above all loving. The Bible even says that God is love.
Yeah. He's merciful.
And love is choosing to forgive regardless. And that means, no matter what someone is doing to you, doing against you, whatever it is, you love them, you forgive them. And that is true. That is true Christianity. That is true belief. And I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I was just thinking about, I think right now, probably even some people watching this might have this idea about Christianity as being judgmental and this, people sitting in the pew and pointing fingers and that is not at all what true belief in Christ is. That is not the gospel that Jesus preached when he was here on this earth, not even for a second. It was to love everyone. He loved the people that crucified him, and he forgave them. And he even says it on the cross. He pleads with God. He says, forgive them because they don't even know what they're doing. They don't understand. Total tangent, but I wanted to say that you have definitely been someone throughout our history in the band as Justin Forshaw, as someone who has always had this idea that and you kept all of us in check, even as we did get the big record deal with Atlantic Records. We got the management deal with Q Management, who's managing Skillet, and we were so excited, and we were going on Skillet tours and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't even matter. Yeah. You were the one that was always like, well, wait. If we're not first and foremost being an example to people of what Christ wants us to be, of what it is to exalt God and love Jesus, then we're just completely wasting our time. And so, so stepping forward in the music industry and in this new venture, kind of without some of the cloudiness of a record label and having to go on tour because we have a radio single out and we don't have a choice. It's not, it's either keep your record deal, go on tour and go broke and, and too bad for you, or, stay home and lose it all. Now we kind of have this opportunity to really do whatever we want to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really what music is all about. And I think the most successful bands really in history just kind of up and kind of did whatever they wanted to do. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we're going to be as successful as some of the most successful bands in history. That said, everything I just said, that's not what it's about.
No.
And I mean, I don't think it was a tangent. I think it's crucial. I mean, if you don't have another, a bigger reason as to why you're playing music, or what you're doing, then why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. And what's gonna drive you to play that song or that set list 800 times night after night after night? Because I can guarantee you that playing that song every single night is not just a bundle of joy. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have a bigger reason, and that song has to mean something to you in order for you to actually want to get up there and play it. In order for you to want to, everyone thinks, like you said, it's just, touring is just amazing. And touring it's fun. Literally the best thing that I can say I've experienced as far as, like a job goes or anything like that. And just being around people that you genuinely love to be around, but the same hand goes, whether you're doing it for free, whether you're making, $5 out of it, you still have to have some bigger picture, otherwise you're sitting there going broke for no reason.
Yeah.
You're putting all of your time and your family's time into it, because everyone that you see on the road has a family, regardless of if it's a wife or, a kid or their mom and dad or brother and sister. Those people are gone from from their family, months out of the year, and
Most
so
of the
there's,
year, yeah.
and so there has to be something that's driving you to do it. Otherwise, why do it?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was art just for the sake of art was never enough. It had to be like I had a radical conversion to Christ when I was younger, and music was really all I knew. So I knew that somehow I wanted to be able to take that, my testimony, my discovery of God's grace and the ability to recover brokenness and broken lives and be able to share that. And I know it's a common thread amongst a lot of really cool Christian bands to be able to do that, but it's something that I think drives us to continue. And I mean, we all love music. We all play music, regardless of if it was something that we're making money or if we're professionals or famous or anything. We're going to continue to make music, but being able to use that avenue to bless people and to just make a difference in society in general, if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was, actually seeing, everyone can talk about, you have a bigger picture and everything, but actually seeing that put to work. I don't know how many people we've met over the years that, you meet them and they're like, yeah, I don't believe in God. I don't plan on believing in God. And, I'm here because I saw that there's a local show at this bar and you guys just happen to play it. And then next thing you know, they hear your music, they buy a CD, or we give them a CD or whatever. And then 3 months later, we come back to that venue and they're like a huge fan. But not only are they just a huge fan, they've like picked apart the lyrics and they've some sort of, applied it to their life. And then, it's kind of like, we met some awesome people up in Wisconsin, and, you start to see how the song really like applies to your life and how that starts to completely change your life as well, as far as how you look, your outlook on every day, how you just go about being, a human, and so actually seeing the lyrics, in our bigger picture actually be put into real work. That's the best thing for me is seeing it actually work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It's cool.
All of that to say, moving forward in the music industry for us means putting out music that we love, putting out music that we like, and really having a purpose. And I know as of today, as of you watching this podcast, Justin and I are both going to be singing. Yeah. We've been writing the material. We both sing, and I honestly have to say that I'm completely excited as some of these songs have been shaping up. I know my mind has been blown thinking, this is, not only is it fun, we're saying really what we want to say. And at the end of the day, if millions of people love the songs and want to buy it, that's wonderful. That's great. If 10 people love the songs and buy it, that's equally as wonderful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we're doing what we love and we're saying what we want to say. And, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy what we have coming up. We don't have a name for this new project officially. We have some ideas. But yeah, the songs are already being written. In fact, we're going to be releasing, I know for sure, one song very soon. This is our hearts, and this is what we love, and this is what we do, and this is what we believe in. And I hope everyone watching this can share in that belief, share in love and forgiveness, and obviously our hearts that you would know and recognize that there is a God, and that the God is love, and that He loves you and He loves us, and that above all else there is absolute forgiveness for anything that you could ever do and anything that you've ever done. And God is graceful and He's merciful, and I can say that about my life 100%. And if you're up on any of the events that have gone on with We As Human and with Justin Cordell, then regardless of what you know or what you don't know, I know with concrete security that God is loving and forgiving and merciful, and he says all we have to do is ask for it. And he also says that as people who love him and who claim to be Christians, who say that they love God, it is our responsibility first and foremost to forgive everyone and anyone of anything that they've ever done to us, for us, against us, or else he can't even forgive us. And so as far as we as human is concerned, there's, like I said before, nothing but love, nothing but forgiveness, and that situation will have to pick up where it left off on another day. But we definitely are moving on. We're coming with something that we love, something that's awesome, and something that we believe in. And in the meantime, we're doing Ruin Radio. We have RMS Studios here in Nashville. We're recording artists and bands, and that's also going on. And it's
your demos could be
'em up.
really good if
Really,
you
really,
contact
really good.
us.
seriously, we do demos. We work with artists. We've got some artists that are doing some really cool things. Nathan King is someone that comes to mind. And someone that we've
I'm
been
excited for Nathan.
working on his
Stuff's
record.
awesome.
Yeah, last week he's country. He was in a Christian rock band called Angel Light. Now he's doing country, and the guy is just incredible. He's a really, really good songwriter. But yeah, we're doing country rock and just anything in between, pop.
Yep.
A lot of alternative stuff.
Pop, singer-songwriter stuff. Do guitar lessons on Skype sometimes, all the
Guitar
time.
lessons. This guy's
whenever.
ridiculous. He
Little
does
plug
guitar
in there.
lessons.
Little plug, modern guitar lessons.
Shameless
What's up?
plug. But yeah, well, Tom, man, I really appreciate you coming in, and
Absolutely. It's fun.
like we said at the top of this, we honestly never have any idea where this is going to go.
Nope.
And
Every week we say we will.
yes, no kidding. and I appreciate everybody for listening, and this is RMS Studios. This is the Ruin Radio Vodcast, and E-Vapors, Sinister Guitar Picks. And honestly, we really should give a plug to Kimmy G's Cafe.
We should.
Jimmy
I've been
G.
staring down those cookies that are over there. and over there.
We'd be starving.
Cookies. These are birthday cake cookies.
Can I have one of those right now? Actually, we can have a live reaction.
We have
yours.
more. We have lots of cookies. She keeps us well fed.
Tom, you
Kimmy
want a
G's
cookie now?
Cafe.
I do actually.
This might sound like it's
First
random,
dibs.
but this is a cafe here in town that takes amazing care of us.
Yeah, get a close up on that.
Now, this cafe, I just want to tell you, I happen to know literally exactly the place she gets her coffee beans from. They roast them. They come in green, literally green, straight off the plant. They're roasted fresh. And so Kimmy G, she has her own blend. She ships those out. You can order coffee online. If you are a coffee connoisseur, if you love coffee, right now, first person that comes to mind is Jonathan Chu, former violinist of Skillet. You really need to check out Kimmy G's. I know that formerly the Red Oak, you could probably go to the Red Oak Cafe, but I know that she's going to have a website up really soon. Please order coffee from this lady. Her coffee, honestly, is the best coffee I've ever had in my entire life. She's always hooking us up with really good stuff. Sinister Guitar Picks, evapors.com. Check them out. And we're going to be back next week. I'm Jake Jones.
Justin Forshaw.
Tom Riordan.
Brooks Holt.
Brooks Holt.
Yeah.
You ever watch, what show is this? Steve Holt.
No.
Arrested Development?
No.
I know the show. I've never watched it.
You've never seen Arrested Development?
Nope. I've seen commercials for it.
Well, I'm going to end on this note. Steve Holt.